It was May of 2025. I was so excited. It was student university, and I'll be moving to hostel in like a month, 30 days. And I was so excited. I wanted to complete my Hifdh. And at that time, I memorized like about 4 juz. So I was kind of very, very excited, and I was like messaging ChatGPT and everything. That okay, how can I memorize the Quran in 30 days? And I knew that just like very, very unrealistic. But I was thinking like, I'll be the most ambitious I've been. And I kind of message, okay, I'll just push myself, and then in university, I would revise the Quran. Sounds like a good idea. I prepared everything and I started. And the worst part was that after 30 days, the 4 juz I initially have was weak, and I did not move a single step towards that. 30 days later, I have not been memorized a single juz again. When you zoom out from that story, it's kind of funny because you will see like, why is he even wasting his time like this? You see, like, I'm just wasting my time. I'm just gonna kill myself for just to do this help. And when you actually zoom in and see the people around you, see people of help, you have the same mindset to cover the Quran in a very short period of time. Shame on you when you just put yourself in the battle zone. Full focus on trying to do this specific thing. That's when you learn the most in life. And some of the times, like when I'm just feeling weak or whatever, I'll kind of plan all these things I have and go super, super extreme. And I did that for the 30 days and I failed completely. And one of those, like, and some people, most people are like struggling with this, but they will not open up and tell you, you might be struggling with this. You might be feeling, okay, I'm going to finish the Quran in like a specific month or whatever, maybe a specific like, time period or whatever. You might have the same problem, and like I did, and I'm openly like, I will tell you the mistake and I will tell you the lesson I learned from that. One of the lessons I learned was that do not look at the end points. Do not even think about the end point. That's the main, like the golden rule. Because like for heavy, it's not the same as like other goals or whatever, and like lock in focus mode. No, don't even look at the end point, because at that time actually I didn't even know how to like only divide the helps. I wanted to like just memorize, and even the memorization was not possible because of that. And it's just like kind of like a video game, like in GTA, like San Andreas, like you kind of explore the map, and the more you explore the map, the more the map opens up to. So before you know it, like you did okay, like this is about journey, wow, like all these things. Before that, you didn't even know like if they were to open everything to you, and you see like you'll be overwhelmed. And that's the word I want you to kind of keep in your brain: overwhelmed. There is no single person on earth, and I will be absolute about this. There is absolutely zero person on earth who was overwhelmed and was able to do Quran. Never. Never was, never will be. Why? Because being overwhelmed, it kind of, no matter how much you kind of motivate yourself, do you know, like, understand, like there's a, like the artificial motivation, like somehow just pump you, hype up, you, whatever. But there's a natural motivation you have. And that natural motivation, like, no matter how, you cannot push yourself and do that if you're still overwhelmed. You'll be overwhelmed with fear. Okay, what if I miss a single day or whatever? All these things. And at that time, I was doing like, I was planning to do it just a day, because I watched I saw the article, whatever, people memorize the Quran 30, 60, whatever. And this fear entered into me. Just think like, sometimes if I did like 5 pages, I will disregard it as well. I'll say, okay, I didn't even do 20 pages, so it's a waste of time. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 10 days, 3 days was gone, and I was in university. And even in university, I realized that I can't even do, like, in fact, it's much easier to do the Quran in university. Why? Because there is a certain period of while whereby you are completely, you cannot avoid us at that time, no matter how. So, like, okay, this block is completely used, and I would try it myself best to surround it around the routine, or like do it after that or before that. But when you have like a free day, like I used to have 24 hours free day, I would not do anything. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, try to stop that fear. How can you stop that fear? Three things. The first one is to just test yourself. And I know that's how cringe. Like in the first place, you are not like you have been overwhelmed because the hate is too much for you, and now you're telling me to test yourself. Try to understand. The first is to test yourself. You didn't ask me for how. How will you test yourself when you have absolutely terrible health? You move. Okay, what makes you test yourself? It comes to the second point, which is confidence. When you have confidence in your head, like even if it's like one of the most strict sheikh in the world, he will test you and you'll be happy. You will not even feel a slight like. In fact, most people think like sometimes I realize with health like, is that when you have strong faith, well, it doesn't matter when you'll be reciting to hundreds or thousands of people, you will not be afraid because you have strong faith. The moment you are like afraid is because like you're not confident in your head. There was a time I remember I recited the Quran in front of hundreds of people, and I cannot even like I am socially like for the past I was like especially I used to be afraid of people like that, but I recited in front of hundreds of people. This is just like health is a completely different world if you can understand. It's just like a kind of like you move to a different dimension. That's how health is. How will you get confident in your health? At tikrar, which is repetition. Most people just tell you repeat, but they will not tell you how. Just repeat, 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 repeat. And for some reason, most of the time I used to feel like it sounds cringe or whatever. Like repeat, I have like a strong memory I can memorize. Yeah, but there is the revision. Initial point you memorize, but keeping the health is very very difficult. I'm not trying to say to scare you, but repetition. When we are repeating it, the amount of times it needs, you'll be able to do that easily. But if we keep on, how like most people I think like just repeat it maybe like 3 5 times. No, the more you repeat, the stronger it gets. And for a while I didn't understand until recently I talked to an sheikh and he gave me a number. Repeat each page 30 times. Some people say 50 times, some people say 100 times, some people even 500 times. When you repeat that much, and it does not take a while, like if, for example, and like for the repeating, you're not going to repeat in 30. No, it's not very advisable. Repeat it at a fast pace. It might take you 30 minutes, it might take you less than that. For me, it takes me like 20 minutes to repeat 30 times per page. Some people might take you a bit more. But I guarantee you, all the pages that I repeated it 30 times, I was able to recite in Salah. I was able to recite it in front of hundreds. I'm not being afraid anymore. I can recite it in front of every single person and I will not be afraid. That's how you win overwhelm. It's not about the amount of pages and stuff, it's about what you have ready. Because confidence in your head is not like the confidence in the real life. Because confidence in your head, sometimes no matter how much you push yourself, there will be a limit whereby you will be thinking about the one you have in the past. And there are so many people like they are in 25 Jews. They have just have 5 Jews to complete, but they will not be able to complete that because they are afraid of the past. So before you see them, they will start from the beginning again. By the time they complete the 25 Jews, they'll be afraid again. Repetition, tikrar, repeat, 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 and you might feel like because like I said, I'm not gonna hide it for you. Like I said, I was like, I don't need to repeat this many times. I'll just repeat a few times and I'll be done. That was one of the biggest mistake I did. Focus on repetition. Don't focus on the endpoint. I guarantee. I'm telling you this. When you focus on the endpoint, I would guarantee you will not win. But when you focus on the point you are right now, repeating us 30 times, even more than that. In fact, 30 times it will stick. Trust me, it will stick. And the way the people used to do that, for example, they'll take a page, they would start the cover from the first line to the last line, and they will combine with the next line of the next page. So, for example, let's say, for example, you have this page, لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء, all the way to the last verse, and you kind of combine with the next page, of the hymn. And when you do that 30 times, when you just close your eyes, like sometimes you will not even be thinking about the page, you'll be able to recite the page completely. That's how you win in heaven. So people talk about pace, like do not rush the hip. Don't rush. Yeah, it's true, don't rush it. But when you have strong hip, like I told you, it will give you confidence. It will kind of like give you a boost. You'll be able to like move much more. because of that. Try implementing that. And if it's like sometimes there are certain people like me, like I said, like ambitious people who think that they don't need to do that much. And it doesn't, in fact, 30 minutes. Let's just give a number, 30 minutes. Sit down for 30 minutes, revise that page for 30 minutes. That's it. It's from hell. There'll be a video on the screen. Click on watch this video and just start a discipline.